I find this fascinating. It's the profound cognitive shift that astronauts experience when seeing Earth from outer space and observing, the delicate blues and the green hues from outer space. And the overview effect is, them having this overview vision of the Earth, and they get this feeling of awe and just this new understanding of our planet and really the fragility of our planet. And so by connecting the consumer to this same sense of awe with this color, it can tell a really powerful story that facilitates a deeper and essential connection to Earth.
That is Reiko Morrison, Consumer Tech Head of CMF at WGSN. Today, we're talking all things colour as we deep dive into WGSN's Colour of the Year, Transformative Teal. Now, chances are Transformative Teal isn't new to you. We forecast this colour for 2026 2 years ago, but it's made headlines across the world recently thanks to industry influencers picking up on it and spreading the word. Plus, our TikTok and Insta Reels on the colour going viral. But in this episode, you'll find out how this special colour was chosen, the whole forecasting process, what inspired its name, and most importantly, the feelings and emotions that really drove the selection this time round. To talk us through all of this, I'm welcoming Reiko Morrison to Lives of Tomorrow. I'm Carla Buzasi, CEO of WGSN, the world's leading trend forecasting company. You're listening to Lives of Tomorrow, the WGSN podcast about how we'll live our lives in the future. Reiko, your first time on this particular podcast, can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yes, so I'm Reiko Morrison. I'm Consumer Tech's head of CMF, and my whole life, or I should say my whole career, I've been focusing on CMF.
Okay, now for some listeners who don't know what CMF is, can you explain?
Yes, a lot of people, even my parents, don't even understand what CMF is. It's color, material, and finish. And I started out as an industrial designer, but I always gravitated to figuring out the CMF. And I even go back to my childhood. That's why I say my whole life I've been a CMF designer, because I collected rocks when I was younger. And that I see as the beginning of my fascination with colors and materials and finishes.
I love that. Now, this as a rule, this is our most popular podcast every year when we talk about the colour of the year. But I also have a confession to make that I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, I'm recording our Colour of the Year podcast tomorrow. And they said, what's the colour? And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure, because we talk about these colours so far in advance that for me, the colour that you and I are going to talk about today, we actually forecast a number of years ago. So we have been talking about it for some time. But just in case we have any listeners who haven't logged on to WGSN or read the headlines, because there's been a huge amount of press about this particular colour, can you let them know the colour of the year for 2026?
Yes, so the color of the year for 2026 is Transformative Teal. And it's a shade of teal that really fuses blue and green. It's a really nice balance. And with 2026 being the year of redirection, this color symbolizes the polarities we navigate daily. I think we all can relate to that. So the balance of the color and really, us finding our balance is the necessary transformation that we need to adapt to our really rapidly changing world.
So we're obviously going to be talking about this through the lens of CMF and how it can be used in creative industries that create products for consumers. But I will just let you know, we're obviously in budget season at the moment. And in my role, that's quite a large part of my job. And we've been working on the deck for our owners this week. And we've used Transformative Teal throughout because it is this very calming colour. And it sort of, it softens the messages that are going through this. So this colour is relevant no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're creating. And I can personally confirm that fact. So let's talk a little bit about the process. And we do this every single year. A large number of people are involved. But how do we come to defining the single colour in any given year?
Well, it's actually a really rigorous process for selecting the color of the year. Every season, we have our Global Color Workshop, which is one of the absolute favorite parts of my job. I really enjoy coming together with the experts in all of the sectors that we cover. And we share our research. We have experts from fashion, interior, beauty to consumer tech and sports and outdoors. We're all at the workshop. By sharing our research, we are able to see which colors are permeating all sectors, which colors are specific to certain sectors. Now, in this process of sharing our research, we're discussing and even debating which colors are seen as most important for the season. And it's always so inspiring to me. I get to absorb what's happening on a global level with color, and I'm always just reminded of the brilliant people that I work with every day. So the Color of the Year selection really started in the Spring Summer 26 workshop, where we select not only our color of the year, but also the key colors at the same time. And that's where the debates really start, like which one is the most important, which one really deserves the title of color of the year. And we take into account a wide range of sources from emotions, consumer insight and behavior, data, catwalk analysis, as well as the latest design exhibitions and innovations that are shaping the world that we live in, really looking at things from a macro level, an overall holistic level. So I must give our data team a shout out for all of their rigorous analysis of our workshop images and the color work that we do in general. Their technical innovation is actually just blowing my mind. They have built custom algorithms that accurately scan product images for color, automatically excluding all the background noise that we don't need to pay attention to. It's not looking at skin color and other unwanted anomalies. We're all working together to train this custom AI system that the data team is putting together. So all of our color experts within the company are working hand in hand with the data team to really create this advanced process that delivers reliable data on color group popularity, as well as identifying which colors are cross-vertical, which is really important. We want to make sure that we're covering all sectors, and we want to make sure that we're looking at color with a global lens, especially choosing a color like Color of the Year. We also use the amazing Coloro system of physical swatches. I cannot stop raving about Coloro ever since I started working at WGSN. It's really the perfect system for deciding the exact shade. During the workshop, we're not just looking at colors on the screen, we're pulling out the physical swatches, putting them on the table. It can actually get quite messy. We actually have to go in separate rooms because there's so many colors that we're pulling out and looking at one time. But it really is the best way to decide on color of the year. And it's really a necessary part of the process because we're evaluating the hue, lightness, chroma, all aspects of the color. We really want to make sure we get exactly the right color or the right shade to communicate our inspiration for color of the year, as well as thinking about the commerciality of this shade, thinking about how it's going to be applied to actual physical products and the materials that it's going to be applied to. So we have to make sure that it works for all of our industries.
So, how can Colour of the Year foster kind of emotional and cultural relevance when it comes to products, but also spaces for brands too?
So it really has the ability to tap into two emotional needs that can feel quite different, again, representing that polarization that I mentioned earlier. And with 2026 being the year of redirection that we've defined in our macro trends, it's all about old ideas being challenged and pushing for urgent change. Transformative teal really reflects this by being a fluid fusion of blue and green. That's what I love about it so much. It's that balance. And the shade used on products and spaces acts as a new restorative dark. And these restorative darks, we're really seeing them growing in importance, really getting away from, just basic blacks. We're looking at these dark colors that really have that restorative effect, that align with recovery, regeneration, and redirection. This color can reflect both the desired consumer mood and the cultural context, supporting well-being, inclusivity, and community connection. It just embodies so much, and that's why we love it so much.
We always get asked about sustainability when it comes to colour, because an industry that, completely changes its mood and mind on a colour every 12 months is not a completely sustainable one. So let's talk about how that comes into the selection process.
Yes, and we have a strong focus on sustainability at WGSN. Everybody, the work that we do, we're always looking at sustainability at the forefront, especially when choosing color of the year, which is why it sits across 2 seasons for the whole year, spring, summer, and autumn, winter. This approach really leads to a broader relevance for color of the year, giving it trans-seasonal and really this long-term appeal, which ultimately is the sustainable aspect of it. We're always looking at how commercially viable this color will be. Also, this color relates to an Earth First mindset because of the references to blue and green. And, where we're building resilience in the face of complex climate changes. And, it helps us to reflect on a new outlook on biology that can be organic and even synthetic using new bioengineering technologies, which is really exciting to see develop. Ultimately, that will help preserve the planet.
So you're clearly so passionate about this topic. So let's talk about how colour can tell stories, more generally than just colour of the year.
I truly believe the emotional power of color really can't be ignored. It might be taken for granted by most people, but us as color experts, we really know the power of color. We know how color is an important tool to hook consumers and capture certain emotions. And because of this, it's important for color of the year to be used to help tell those stories and deepen engagement. So just imagine this shade as a visual link to an Earth First mindset, directly evoking the overview effect. I find this fascinating. It's the profound cognitive shift that astronauts experience when seeing Earth from outer space and observing, the delicate blues and the green hues from outer space. And the overview effect is, them having this overview vision of the earth, and they get this feeling of awe and just this new understanding of our planet and really the fragility of our planet. And so by connecting the consumer to this same sense of awe with this color, it can tell a really powerful story that facilitates a deeper and essential connection to Earth. I'm also a firm believer in color being used in combinations to tell a story. So, for example, if transformative teal is used as an overall or an accent color, this use of color can shape the visceral and emotional effects a person will have when viewing it. So basically, if you use a lot of it, it will have more impact. But if you're using it as an accent color, it's acting as a helper within the overall color scheme. And so by pairing it with earthy naturals, for example, and urgent brights, this leverages its sustainable narrative while also capturing the attention for this urgent Earth First mindset.
While you're talking so eloquently, I'm just thinking about the fact that when I came on camera earlier, our producer was like, why are you in black when we're doing Colour of the Year? But actually, you can't really tell because it's getting dark. But my walls are teal.
I
My
was thinking
entire
that.
room is the right colour for this podcast. And maybe
Yes.
that's on some subliminal level, I chose this colour because it is calming. I'm sadly not in this room that much. I spend most of my time in my office in London. But when I'm on a working from home Friday, I just have that lovely teal backdrop. So there we are. I'm not sure what story I'm
Very
trying to. Maybe I'm
nice.
trying to make everyone I speak to feel calm at the end of the week when I've got this as my
Yes.
backdrop. Okay, that's a little bit about me. Let's talk a little bit more about you now, and we'll come back to Colour of the Year in a moment. Quick fire questions. First thing that comes into your head. What did you say you wanted to be when you were at high school?
I at first wanted to be an engineer. I didn't know what kind of engineer, but that quickly shifted when I took my first college chemistry class, and I thought, no, this is not for me. And I went to the course catalog and I found industrial design, and it said part designer, part artist, and part engineer, and I was like, yes, that's what I want to be.
That sounds perfect. I love that. What's your most frequently used app?
I would say Instagram and YouTube. I'm not a TV person, so I like to stay up to date with, what's going on in Instagram, and YouTube is more educational. I like to watch documentaries and things like that.
Okay. Your favorite AI tool?
Midjourney, definitely. I love creating images, and it's constantly evolving to just be better and better, and so I'm obsessed with it.
You're a Midjourney fanatic. Okay.
Yes.
What's the song you currently have on repeat?
Oh, that's a tough question because I don't really have one song. I actually like EDM music, and I have playlists on my Spotify, which my 16-year-old cannot stand. So yeah, that's on my playlist.
For me, if I'm running, some EDM is just perfect. And if I'm Peloton, I will usually choose an EDM ride because it's going to keep me going. So it probably weirdly is the music that I listen to most, but it's
Nice.
it's an activation music rather than anything else.
Yes, and I'm usually listening to it in the car,
Yeah.
On the way to like hockey tournaments and things like that. So I gotta get pumped up, right?
Get everyone pumped up. What's the last thing on your bucket list that you ticked off?
I would say our family trip to Ireland and the UK. My bucket list consists of, going to family heritage places, and my husband is half Irish, and I'm part English, so that ticked off a couple on our bucket list.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to come back to Colour of the Year, maybe some kind of practical questions. Why does it need to be versatile across digital and physical platforms?
Yeah, so we know the importance of color across both the digital and physical realms. That's just part of life now. So it's really important that we choose Color of the Year to reflect this widespread movement. Its versatility, like you said, the calming, restorative qualities really make it ideal for digital environments where you can manipulate this color and have different effects like animation and gradients and iridescence. It really can come alive within the digital realm. And then as digital and physical worlds continue to merge, integrating transformative teal into physical products will create consistency when brands are looking at their digital spaces and physical products. This really, when you look at that integration, it helps to create this clear and more holistic brand identity around the color.
How does it achieve long-term relevance beyond the kind of hype of a particular season? When we're picking Colour of the Year, we have, and you've talked about it from a sustainability angle, but also we have a belief that this isn't just a flash in the pan. This is not a fad. This is something that, as you've so eloquently talked about, huge amounts of data science goes into this choice. And therefore, it's not something that's just going to pop up and disappear. So how can that, I guess, again, how can brands think about that long-term relevance of it?
We only need to look at, like the influence of millennial pink or Barbie pink or brat green on social media to see this. So it's really important for brands to think of color as a long-term investment, especially for shades that offer trans-seasonal appeal like Transformative Teal. We know so much of the time and money goes into getting the shade right for brands. There's so much development that goes on behind the scenes to get colors the way that they look on product. So we know that investing in a color of the year, you want to be thinking beyond, like you said, the seasonal hype and really build a robust long-term color strategy around this shade. That's why we have our data analysts analyzing how color preferences and popularity is shifting over time. When we predicted transformative teal, we're looking at the connection and this shift to the importance of darks and the need for color to do more, to go beyond just one season or even 1 year. It really has the longevity. Because it's so versatile, we don't want to choose a color that's going to be specific to a certain product range or a certain industry. We look at colors that are versatile across multiple sectors and product types.
How does it align with future consumer emotions and macro trends? Because we start with that macro picture, we put it through our really rigorous STEPIC methodology. Color is sort of one of the things that comes out of that process. But talk a little bit about the alignment with the macro forecast for 2026.
We are looking for solutions for our planet, and it really has become this urgent need. We know that our planet needs our help. And so this color really embodies that eco accountability and resilience to a more future focused mindset. And I think that's really key for this color to connect with the macro trends that we're observing. Touching on eco accountability, it really aligns with the environment and where reactions to the climate crisis have really shifted from urgency to really emergency. We don't have time anymore. We need to do it now. We know that. And as we go into 2026, the next step is going to be accountability. So for this color, it means a higher emotional response, and we see a push towards colors like transformative teal that focus on the opportunity and the hope and unity most important. That's the balance of the blue and green, representing that unity.
Now, we forecast 2 years out across a lot of our industries. Color, spanning all of these industries, comes under that bucket. So we have been talking about transformative teal for a couple of years. And importantly to note, when we do these forecasts, when we put a year on it, we're talking when it's reaching mass adoption. This isn't sort of the first sign of it. So lots of people will have been privy to this information for some time. Where have you seen transformative teal already being adopted?
So for fashion, we're observing in the spring-summer 2026 catwalks this shift towards aqua and teal shades, with transformative teal coming through a lot, from Loewe's blazer to Chloe's slimmer pants and Alaya's fringed boots. They're all seen in different finishes, from matte to satin shimmering finishes that give this color different moods, from serious and sophisticated to casual and calming, which is really nice to see different interpretations of it. And then the newest Fairphone is an exact match to Transformative Teal, which really reflects this brand's sustainability commitments. And then it has a nice pop of bright yellow on the button and graphics, which aligns with the urgent need to address the climate crisis, which the brand has been doing since its inception. And then one of my favorite examples is this incredible underground house concept called Plan B by Sergei Makhno Architects. And from the outside, it's very subdued. It's very modern, minimal concrete structure. And then you go into the underground structure, and the interiors are filled with warm wood paneling, soft leather materials, and a lot of living plants, which I love, with natural light coming through. And all of this contrasts against the cold concrete structure. It's just absolutely beautiful and mesmerizing, and I want to go and experience it.
I'm going to go and have a look all this up this evening and start getting teal envy.
I'll send you
Okay.
the links.
Send me the links. Send me the links. That would be fantastic. So it's the final question. I think I know what your answer is going to be, given the conversation we've had. But are you more anxious or excited about the future?
I'm a little bit of both. I'm more optimistic about the future than anxious, but it's hard not to be anxious just with everything going on and the polarizations. I think that's the biggest thing that gives me anxiety, but I'm optimistic because young people of today, I see so much potential and so much passion from them, as far as making our world better, not just from an environmental standpoint, but a political standpoint, a community standpoint. So all of that energy really gives me hope for the future.
Thank you, Reiko. This has been a beautiful conversation. I'm sure everyone who listens will now rush out and look for teal around them. They might not paint their entire walls with it, but maybe a few little accents in their homes to get us softened and supported for 2026.
I love that. I would love to see that.
Big thank you to Reiko Morrison, Consumer Tech Head of CMF at WGSN. Please do check out our other podcast, Create Tomorrow, with my amazing colleague Cassandra Napoli. But thank you, that's it for me for now. I'll return with a new episode of Lives of Tomorrow in 14 days' time. My name is Carla Buzasi. I'm the CEO of WGSN, and I'll see you next time.